Get ready to break all the rules with the 2021 KTM 890 Adventure. Today we're going to look at a beast that is just as scary to look at as it is to watch. Start putting on your helmets and getting ready to see what makes this machine a legend on both the streets and the wild tracks. KTM bikes are made to rule the world. They have a lot of raw power, agility, and a rustic look that makes them appealing to both serious explorers and weekend warriors. How do they do that? Let's get to know the KTM 890 Adventure better and find out what makes it work. Take a look at the 790 bikes. They were very special because they were strong, simple to ride, and had cool technology that didn't cost quite a bit. Because of this, both pros and regular bike fans liked them. It was so popular that people who write about bikes for a job would often buy one after trying it out. People were very excited when KTM told them about the new 2021 890 Adventure bike. What made the 790 bike so great in the first place? Everyone wanted to know if KTM could make it even better. Also, guess what? They sure as hell did. The newer KTM 890 Adventure was even better than the 790. KTM spent a lot of time and thought making this new bike better than the 790. They kept the low price, made sure it had all the best safety features, gave it just the right amount of power, and made sure it was still fun and easy to ride. They didn't change anything about the 790 that people liked about it before. The 890 Adventure was more than just a newer version of the 790. It showed how KTM is always trying to make their bikes better and really understands what bike riders want. It wasn't just about making a new bike, it was about continuing KTM's tradition of making awesome bikes that lead to exciting adventures, break the rules, and change what people expect from their motorcycles. When the 2021 KTM 890 Adventure came out, it wasn't just another new bike, it was the latest in KTM's long line of exciting, cutting-edge bikes. The amazing engine in the 890 Adventure is what makes it truly unique. The engine in the 890 Adventure is very strong, and it's like the heart of the bike, better than the old 790 model by a long shot. It's a parallel twin engine, which means it has two cylinders next to each other. The bike's engine is 889cc. The engine doesn't get too hot because it's cooled by liquid. It has 6 speeds, which is the same thing as having 6 gears. This works like a bike where you can change gears to go faster or slower. It's even cooler than that. Like your bike, the bike gets its power from the engine to the wheel through a chain, but this one is much stronger. It can also hold 20 liters of gas. That's a lot, so you won't have to worry about running out of gas on long rides. The bike weighs 210 kilos when it's wet, which means that water, oil, and gas are added to it. While it's heavy enough to stay stable and not shake, it's also light enough to move quickly and easily. Come with me as I talk about horsepower, a key measurement of an engine's raw power. It's like the muscle that makes the machine run fast. With 94 horsepower, the KTM 790 already had a lot of power, which is a good number for fast handling. When you get to the 890, you see a jump to an amazing 105 horsepower. This jump isn't just a number, it actually means a rise in speed and acceleration. When the 890 races, it moves very quickly and smoothly, making it a much more dynamic and agile bike overall. The 890 has 73 pound-feet of power, which means it can push really hard and go really fast, especially on highways and other big roads. The 890 Adventure's engine is known as a big bored motor. It's not dull because of this. Because of this, the engine can use more fuel and air because the inside parts are bigger. This makes the bike go faster and stronger. KTM also changed how the air and fuel are squeezed. This is called compression and made some parts of the engine lighter. With all of these cool changes, riding the bike is now really smooth and strong. It's like having a strong horse that runs easily and doesn't get tired. You'll really notice how smooth and strong the 890 Adventure is when you ride it, especially on long, open roads like highways. That's like having a racehorse that's fully charged and ready to go fast and far. KTM has made another of other improvements besides the engine. The brakes have been changed to make them easier to control, and a new WP Apex shock has been added to the suspension system. With movable handlebars and a seat that can be set to 2 different heights, the ergonomics are good for riders. On this bike, it's all about comfort and power. Now let's look at another cool thing about the KTM 890 Adventure, how well it handles and how great it is for going off-road. When we say handling, we mean how simple and comfortable it is to move and control the bike, especially when going around corners or over rough terrain. The 890 Adventure moves very well, in part because of the way its fuel tank is made. Just picture a fuel tank that doesn't sit high on the bike, but rather lower down, like a backpack that hangs low. This kind of fuel tank is known as a low-slung fuel tank. The weight is closer to the ground, which helps the bike stay steady and easy to handle, like when you carry a big backpack. If it's too high, it's hard to stay balanced. If it's lower, it's easier to move around. Now let's talk about how well the bike works on off-road tracks that are rough and bumpy. KTM changed something in the engine, in a part known as the crankshaft, to make the bike even better for this kind of trip. They made the crankshaft's rotating mass bigger, adding a little extra weight to a part of the engine that spins is like this. When riding over rocks, bumps, and other rough terrain, this extra weight makes the bike more stable and easy to handle. It's like running on rough ground with better shoes that have more grip. You feel more stable and less shaky. A great new feature for off-road trips is the anti-knock system. It may sound a little complicated, but it's really quite easy. Sometimes certain bikes need special high-octane gas to run easily. This could be hard to find when you're outside, away from gas stations. Since it doesn't need high-octane fuel, the 890 Adventure can run well on normal fuel too. This is very helpful when you're on a trip in a place that is hard to get to, like a deep forest or the mountains, where it can be hard to find the right fuel. Like being able to bring any sandwich to a lunch instead of just one type. The KTM 890 Adventure is not only powerful, but it's also made to be very easy to ride and great for off-road activities. This bike is great for both racing around turns on a track and exploring rough, wild roads. Let's look at the different ways to ride the KTM 890 Adventure. You can think of these modes as different game settings. Each one is meant to change how the bike acts based on where you're riding. The street game is the first one. This looks like the bike's normal setting. It works great on paved, smooth roads like the ones in your neighborhood or in the city. When the bike is in street mode, it is set up to be easy to ride and comfy. The rain mode is the next one. When it rains, the roads can be slippery, making it hard to ride a bike. In rain mode, the bike makes changes to make it safer and more stable. It's like putting on rain boots that keep you from slipping. I really like the off-road mode. It's made for trips where you don't want to ride on smooth roads, like on gravel or dirt paths or even through the woods. At this setting, the bike is ready for the challenges of rough terrain. This makes it easier to steer and a lot more fun to ride in those wild places. The rally mode is where things really get exciting. Follow this if you want to have even more fun on your journey. You can change how the bike responds to your movements in rally mode. You know how you can change the settings in some video games to make your character move or respond in different ways? That's what rally mode does in a way. When you twist the throttle, you can now change how fast the bike moves. It's also possible to change the traction control. When you're riding your bike on loose or slippery ground, traction control keeps the wheels from moving too fast or losing their grip. If you change these settings in rally mode, you can get the bike to behave the way you want it to, based on how well you ride and the terrain. You can make your own superhero suit with the exact powers you need for a certain journey. To sum up, the 2021 KTM 890 Adventure is much more than just a bike. It's tough and strong, but also very smart. So it can handle any journey. This bike is ready for anything, from riding fast on a wide road to discovering wild trails. Turn your motors on and remember that life is short, so ride your bikes more.